Out of Unity on YouTube. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, we just came back from a wonderful weekend, um, cross training at a JkD seminar at Hamilton in Hamilton at Global Martial Arts Academy. Special thanks to Sensei Ron and Sensei Daniel. In fact, the whole Yeats family for once again putting on a fantastic event once again. We had a special guest instructor, John Koeshall, from EmpowerU360.com. To be honest, this is the first time I've ever met the man. I've heard about his work, but never really paid attention to it till today. I gotta say, in one word, if I were to summarize how this day went, how this weekend went actually, I'd say I'm enlightened and humbled. The purpose of today is to basically just give you guys a recap of the event. So let me just tell you a little bit about John Koeshall. So John is a JkD instructor coming from the Inosantos lineage. He's also came from the Vunak lineage as well. He comes from a pedigree of training. Some of the let's see, the Penchak Silat, jiu-jitsu, judo, Muay Thai, Wing Chun, and a deep dive in JkD. I mean, I enjoyed the weekend fully. We covered a ton of material, and some of the key takeaways. One of the things that resonated with me is he talked about a two-wing bird, in a sense that martial arts, consists of two components: self-preservation, self-perfection, and self-preservation. And it was interesting. He was saying that for a martial art to be a martial art, it's got to have a martial part and an art part, and to elucidate that even more, the self-perfection part is the artistic aspect. And a lot of us, spend the majority of our time in the self-perfection piece, where we're doing activities, with each other and among each other, right? And then there's the self-preservation piece where you have to survive, and you're doing something to somebody else so that you can go home at the end of the day. I mean, as simple as that sounds, that's real talk right there, and I have to admit that when he was talking about this two-wing bird part, me, along with a lot of other people from the reactions of the crowd, we had an epiphany, because we were questioning, the holes in our game, and I've been, guys, for those of you guys who have been following me, I've been around the martial art circle for about 35 to almost 40 years, and I would say I spend the majority of my time in the artistic aspect, the theoretical piece, and I don't spend enough time, in the self-preservation piece, which, it's making me think I need to spend more time on it now, especially given, for example, in my particular case, the life stage that I'm at. I have a young family, and I have a lot to look forward to, and I want to keep going, and if I'm gonna call myself a martial artist, I need to delve deep into the self-preservation piece. So, I'm really grateful for this weekend, because it's given me this opportunity to think more about tactical combatives, and that's what this weekend was about. It was about teaching us system, rapid assault tactics, which was a combatives methodology that allows you to shut down your opponent and get home safe. And normally this particular workshop would be, a minimum of 40 hours. But we had a good teaser over the weekend, enough to give me and my students, uh, it, well, enough to give me, I could say, a roadmap to guide my training and my students, um, um, and to open up their eyes towards this kind of stuff. So I got to say thanks, John, for the weekend, and thanks everybody for touching hands with you guys. It was great. Another takeaway was the whole idea of three doors, and John elucidated that quite clearly. You've got three phases in your training. So the first part is the physical phase. The second part was the emotional phase, and the third was the spiritual phase. And as a martial artist, as a holistic martial artist, you know, we go through these phases. And the physical phase, simplistically put, is the part where you train and you push yourself to your physical and mental capacity, right? And that unlocks that unlocks an emotional piece where you're starting to see who you really are. So when you're pushed to that physical level, you're broken, and when you realize that you're broken, those weaknesses teach you something about yourself. And that's the humble pie that makes you peaceful and calm. And then that leads you to the spiritual phase, which when you're going to be in a confrontation with somebody, you're going to be, because you've gone through those three phases, you've reached that level of calm and control. And then you become a compassionate individual. And so when I was listening to these, the breakdown of these three doors, and it continuously made me think of what I need to do more in my practice. And personally, I need to, take my physical training to a point where I can unlock my emotional piece and delve deep into the spiritual part. So in a nutshell, I just got to keep going and keep spending more time on those three doors. But again, that kind of leads me to the whole idea of martial arts as an infinity game. So guys, I gotta say, I strongly urge you to get out there and reach out to others and jump on the seminar bandwagon, because there is an untapped wealth of knowledge out there, and unless you're looking for it, you're not going to find it. And you got to dig deep and have this continuous growth mindset, so that you can always be changing and reflecting, and so anyway, I'm pumped. It was a great weekend. And then finally, that leads me to the talking about the technical aspect of this weekend. And JkD is known to play patty cake. Especially with all their energy drills and Hubud stuff. And unless you touch hands with a highly skilled JkD practitioner, you would never know, you wouldn't know how to unlock all the intricacies and the tactile sensitivity attributes behind Hubud. I've been blessed to have trained with a lot of high-level guys, and just to at least understand the gist of it. But today, I got a deeper dive. Just little things like the checking hand and the bypassing and the salutes and stuff. All of these are all active, live sensitivity type of drills that are not only heightening your tactile sensitivity, but it's heightening the sensitivity to your opponent. and keeping yourself aware of their balances and imbalances. Hey, Karate Breakdown, how you doing? Hey, George, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, man. So, anyway, as I was saying, these tactile sensitivity drills is really cool in the sense that as I was doing them, I was making connections to all of the different arts that I've touched hands with and practiced. So, for example, okay, so we've got hubud, but we've got kakie drills, we've got Koeshall in Tai Chi, we've got pummel drills in Greco-Roman wrestling, we've got sticky hands in Kempo, Chi Sao and Wing Chun, which is a family of sticky hands. They're there, martial arts, and the common thread is tactile sensitivity, kazushi, imbalances and balances, and I'm telling you, there are more similarities than differences. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but this is the sweet sauce behind JkD. JkD, in my opinion, is a holistic cross-training paradigm. It is a great way to study your martial arts. And, at Karate Unity, I'm really trying my best to kind of stay true to this because, as an educator, for those of you who don't know, I'm an elementary school educator. That's my formal training is in that, and we've got this thing called cross-curricular education. And you can study traditionally any particular subject area, given a period of time, but you can gain more out of your study if you study that core subject, whatever it is, through the lenses of other subjects. And this is an academic pursuit, and I don't see why martial arts can't be that way as well. And the first type of martial art practice that comes to mind that does this really well is Jeet Kune Do. And you got to give it to Bruce. He had something going, and he was just in his late 20s, early 30s, when he was doing all of this. So, I mean, hey, man, if you haven't discovered Jeet Kune Do, I strongly recommend, or if you've discarded it, I suggest you start to look at it again, because whether you call it Jeet Kune Do or whether you want to call it cross-curricular education, it's just good learning, folks. And I can't push it any further than that. It's just good learning, and whatever art you're studying, if you're studying BJJ, if you're studying Jeet Kune Do, if you're studying boxing, karate, in my case it's karate, I'm learning, year by year, how to make biomechanical connections to what I'm studying. And when you do that, you unlock your art even deeper, So anyway, that's all I got to say. Yeah, that's about it. Stay tuned. Watch this space for more content. I'm going to be putting out some highlights of that weekend. And stay tuned. The next upcoming event is with the one and only Andy Allen from Applied Shotokan, Nova Karate Jitsu. If you haven't checked out Andy, check him out. He's in my opinion, a prominent figure on the East Coast. Taking traditional Shotokan and mixing it with all kinds of different arts and combat sports to make his karate better. And I've known Andy for years through virtual means, and I'm really excited to actually touch hands with the man and stand side by side with him to work with him. in a month. So I'll be down in Nova Scotia, and watch this space. I'm gonna give you if you go on to my socials right now, there's a lot of posts talking about this event, and you can go to I believe novakaratejitsu.com for event information, as well as karateunity.ca, and all the event links are there. So anyway, one love, guys. Have a great weekend. Chris Hansen signing out. Remember to treat each other with kindness and respect. And thanks again, John, for a fantastic weekend. Peace.